going on 3.5 years now, actually. This 15 Fiesta, it's been a phenomenal car. We bought it with somewhere around 20,000 miles. We are getting ready to turn over to 41,000, so we've put a little over 20,000 miles on it in the last 3 years, and it's time for brakes. Small tire. So other than having this car in school, this is the second time that I've taken the wheel off in the entire time that we've had the car. But yeah, you can see rotors, of course, you know, we got the rust, obviously replacing that. You can kind of see the rust ridge around the edges there. And if you look through the caliper, I don't know if you can really see it on camera, but there is barely anything left on these pads. So like I said, out they come, and get some nice fresh meat on there. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's installment of Mike's Vehicle Vlogs. I want to thank you for joining me today. We have a 2015 Ford Fiesta vlog today. You know, we've had this car for a little over 7 years now, to the point where we actually own it now. Which is a good feeling. And you know, in the 7 years and almost 53,000 miles total that the car has on it, the car really hasn't been bad at all. The car's been phenomenal. The only things that I've really had to spend money on were brakes, tires, a few batteries over the 7 years, blend door actuators. That's what I replaced a lot of blend door actuators. That's probably the thing that's been replaced the most on this car since we've had it. So yeah, I mean, there's really no complaints. But today we are doing another front brake job. You might be wondering why we're doing brakes again when about 13,000 miles ago we did front brakes on this car. And well, you know, I should have known all the years that the brake dust has been so horrible up front since doing those, and the brake noise that I've mentioned in vlogs ever since. Those pads are trash. They are Napa pads, and I think it was probably the first time I bought anything from Napa, if I'm not mistaken. I only did it because there's a store not far from here. It's probably the closest parts store to me, but I just kind of always forget that it's there. And the day that I did the brakes on this, since they were so close, and it was during the pandemic too that we did the brake job, didn't really want to go out, you know, too far, and yeah, so I bought these Napa pads. I did tell them I wanted the OEM spec pads, so I didn't go for the cheapies. We did whatever they gave me that they considered OEM spec, and here we are 4 years later. And like I said, you know, even though the car doesn't get driven a whole lot, we got about 13,000 miles on those pads. And I looked at them a few months ago during an inspection, and they are they're already pretty much down to metal. So we're gonna replace those with actual Ford, or I should say Motorcraft pads and rotors for that matter. So we're gonna put the actual OEM spec pads on today, and then on top of that we are going to do another blend door actuator, because as I mentioned, it might have been in the 7-year video also, the 7-year review, which was about 6 months ago at this point. Wow, that's weird. We're already like, today's June 1st, we're already halfway through 2024, it's amazing. But yeah, so about 6 months ago I made a 7-year review on the video on this vehicle, and the blend door actuator has been clicking for a while. I've been letting it go for too long. The clicks are starting to sound a little funny. It's not just a consistent, constant click now. It's a few loud clicks and then a couple of quiet clicks and then a loud click, and so we're gonna change that out before we end up breaking something else possibly in the dash, in the door or something. I don't want to deal with that. So one door actuator number 4 is going in today also. So let's get outside now and let's take a look at these brakes. The Fiesta and the Civic both got their first actual thorough wash of the year, by the way. It's been a week, but they still look really clean, surprisingly enough. And that's why you can kind of see already I got the brake dust from whatever's left on these pads. So I should have known, you know, that the brake dust, you know, within a matter of miles, the brake dust just completely takes over these wheels. And I should have known that, you know, with a lot of dust, we're probably losing a lot of pad. But, you know, so let's go ahead and get the wheel off and see what these things look like. So as in Ford tradition, our lug nuts are finally starting to swell up pretty good. Typical. I think I brought everything out that I need already, so I'll have to keep going back and forth. Our caliper itself, 12mm bolts here, and the bracket should be 15. I know we've watched these brake jobs before. Some people like watching these. Some people are like, eh. Some people tell me to get a tripod also, but that's the point of these videos. It's a vlog. I try to give you guys first-person point of views. Here we go. So yeah, not really stuck in there either. I mean, look at that. That's only 13,000 miles. This back one's a little worse. No, I did have these off when I was inspecting them. They came out really easy the first time. Since then, they might have seized a little more, but I don't know. That should not be looking like that only after 13,000 miles. You know, I mean, I guess we'll knock that out with the hammer once we get the bracket off. So the bracket, like I said, those are 15s there. Might need an extension because that one strut knuckle bolt's in the way. I always forget about that. Let's see if this will help us any. Yes, it does. Come on. Yeah, that knuckle bolt right there kind of gets in the way a little bit. That should be loose enough now for us to figure. This is a good time to do this because my wife actually had to have an unplanned surgery a little over a week ago after an ER visit. Figures. So I figure might as well do this now since she's not driving for the time being. I've been driving this car the last few days so it doesn't sit. And even then I can, you know, when you drive it you kind of feel a difference in the brake performance. Yeah, that inner pad's like almost down to nothing. Yeah, they should not be that low at 13,000 miles. I mean, come on. Oh good, my rotors. See, this hasn't even been on there long enough to really seize. It came off with ease. The rotor doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's a little scored here and there, but there wasn't any pulsing yet or anything, which is honestly why I changed these brakes to begin with at 40,000 miles, because the rotor started to pulsate. Pads weren't too bad. I mean, they were the original pads that I took off of here, the original pads and rotors, and they weren't too bad, but the pulsing was kind of why I did the first brake job to begin with. With a hand brush, you're never going to get all of the rust and corrosion off of the hub. But I've said it once, I'll say it again. It's what we have at the house, it's what we got to work with. That looks pretty good. It still really hasn't rusted too bad in the 7 years that we've had it. So, you guys know the drill. It's time to go up to the porch and do the caliper bracket cleaning. Before we head over there, let's open up our pads and we'll do one of our little comparison things. Those little red ants are everywhere this year. See? See? I don't know if they're ants. I think they're like little blood spiders or something. I don't know. They are everywhere. Here's the part number for your Ford Motorcraft pads. For your Fiesta, it's probably the same across all the trim levels. Maybe with an exception for the ST, I don't know. Those are nice. Yes, they are. At 13,000 miles, they should still look pretty similar to this. Just, you know, a little lower in pad depth there, but I mean, come on, look at the difference. Our house has had a screen door in the basement for this door since we bought the house 9 years ago, and I finally was able to get it on. So now the cats have a better view of the outside world. Ain't that right, Dunkel? Alright, so I'm pretty sure when we did these in 2020, this is the original brake hardware, because those premium Napa pads that I was sold, or, you know, I can only believe that they were premium pads, but I mean, look, just, you know, that's a lot. It's just caked on there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that did not come with hardware, so I had to reuse these, clean them up as best we could. You get new hardware with the actual Motorcraft pads, so we're probably going to be using those this time around. And I don't think there's a difference between the front and back pads, if I'm not mistaken. So let's get to our cleaning. I will carefully take these out though, just in case we need to reuse them, but this time around we really shouldn't. And again, with the hand brush, you're never really going to get it all, but just get what you can. It's actually cleaning up pretty good. Brake cleaner helps. But if you had like a wire wheel on like a die grinder or even on a drill, you'd do better. But like I said, we only have to work with what we got here at the house. Try to get some of the crevices here. Alright, so there we go. So I mean, that's really all the best we can do. We got a lot of the, you know, at least the loose stuff off. Like I said, if you really wanted to get that down, you know, to a science, something power, you know, or pneumatic would do, but that should be good. That'll be fine for us. Oop. So we'll grease up the place where the hardware goes. This should help the, you know, keep the rust from really forming. Trying to get rid of some of the excess there. Hardware should work out pretty nicely. It's a different style than what was on there. The pads are going to go under this spring loaded thing here. So let's try to get them in there. It seems like it fits pretty nice. Actually, it went in pretty easy. Felt it slide into place at the top. Nice new hardware. There we go. Let's go ahead and add some lubricant to the ears of our pads. Like I said, there's no squealers on these, so they are matching. It doesn't matter which one's the front and rear pad. Alright, and there we have it. If you want the Ford Motorcraft rotors for your Fiesta, there's your part numbers right there. These are coated rotors, so I'm not going to spray them down when I put them on, because the coating, they say, is supposed to kind of help the pads break in and wear evenly, and it's supposed to also keep the rotor from prematurely rusting, but I don't know. All I do know is I was always told don't spray them down if they are coated. There we go. Another little trick you can do, if your rotor doesn't have like one of those assembly screws to kind of keep it flush, you can use a lug nut like I did here, so that way the rotor is pushed back as pretty much as far as it can go. Don't know if that's anything I've ever mentioned or not to you guys. it's just so satisfying to see. You know, man. I did grease these, so I wiped off the old grease, put some new stuff on. There's a little bit that was kind of coming out, but it's okay. We get to wind up the caliper now. Now I bought a new caliper winding tool. I don't know, just because I saw it at, you know, Harbor Freight. I have one, but not like this. So I was just kind of wondering what this style, if it's gonna be easier or harder or the same. I think I like my other one better. It is going, but this just feels like it's taking too long. Yeah, my other one has like a handle. You guys have seen it, but yeah, this kind of takes a while. I need to get one of those nice ones where you can kind of crank the handle in the middle and it spreads it out. That's what I should get. Here we go. And we don't have any air in the boot. Looks like it all went in nice and even. I think we're good there. Okay, one other thing I just did is I kind of put some smooch there on the front where the caliper is going to slide onto it, and I also coated the back where the piston of said caliper is going to be. Pins are sticking out a little too much. Let's see if we can push them in one hand. There we go. All right. There we go. Slide that down. Alright, there we go. And the one thing I hate about brakes is the fact that they just never look good after a while. Oh well. Alright, so let's jump ahead to the other side here. This rotor, you can see we kind of got some deeper grooves in. So, yes sir. Or ma'am. Gotta love the one-handed action there. There we go. Went inside for a little bit since I'm now in the sun. Well, the tarp is kind of covering it at that angle, but we are on the side of the sun. So I did have to go in for a moment and kind of cool off. Alright, so I'll flip this up this way. Like that there. And these pads aren't as bad as the other side. Or they weren't. They're still really low, in my opinion, for the amount that was on there. We're gonna have to hammer that one off again. I might have to put you guys down for this part. Not 100% sure if the camera was even on that part there. If it wasn't, I'm sorry. But it's just like what we did on the other side. Not this bottom one's flimsy. Oh, there it goes, it's coming. It's coming, there we go. Just look at all the brake dust that's, I mean, it's caking. It's a lot. It's probably gonna fall right off. There we go. And again, that just comes right off. All right. And there we go. Okay guys, so we got our brakes done. Gotta do this actuator now. And I forgot how to do it, so I think it's been 4 years. Gotta take the top of the steering column off because we have to take the bottom half off. And I go in through here. Once the column covers off, we can get in there. I think the wheel has to be like all the way up also. If you want to, you can always take the airbag off. I personally don't feel like taking the airbag off. I've done it before when I used to work at the Ford dealership. Taking the airbag off does kind of give you a little more room, but honestly, either way, it's still kind of a pain to get in through there. So I forget what I need. Yeah, some Torx bolts there. I think it was like a T20 or a 25 maybe. Alright, so I'm gonna like this part because I'm gonna turn the air on for a bit. There's the noise we're gonna fix. And while we're at it, let's step on our brake pedal. Whoa, to the floor. Oh. There we go. That's nice. Alright, so brakes are seated. So we turned the car on because we need to get to those. I made a video about this before, but you know, we're gonna roll with it. I grabbed a 30 also, it's obviously too big. 25, pretty sure it's a 25. Yeah. We just had this off also because we changed the wiper stock. Here's one, this way, this guy here. Jeez, oh my god, what a disaster. Okay. What's our mileage, by the way? I didn't tell you guys our mileage. We are at 52,920 at this time. So now that that's up, we just have to find a place to push. There we go. They could just kind of sit up like that. It's disconnected. Then we gotta get that screw on the bottom. Like so. And now's the sad part because we have to turn the car off because of the ignition. We gotta work our way around the ignition. Oh, in this thing, I think. Yeah, there we go. All right. Now we have to go back there. Now this is the part I forget because I forget what the screws are. I need to put my phone in there. Use the flashlight on the phone. That's what I did last time. We just kind of set that on the airbag there, and there it is. Okay. So, yes, yeah, they were Torx bits, weren't they? Yeah, they were. Okay, so the one is right there. And the other one is like caddy quarter from it. There's only two that hold it on. And then we have the wiring harness with the little red lock, I remember. So we gotta remove the red lock, unplug it, and then we can do that stuff. So we could try to do it from the bottom side this time. This camera angle's awful because my face is like so smooshed. But there's not much room. Pull the red lock, there we go. Oh, just completely pulled the red lock out completely. Let's see. Let's see if we can use this hand to... There we go. Yes, we unplugged it. And I think I bought a little special ratchet with some Torx bits that I could probably use in there. I think I bought it for the my brother's Fusion when we had to do the one actuator, the climate temperature actuator on his. I think that's what I used it for. Anyway, I have to go find it. Let me go see if I can find it, and we'll try to use that. I'm assuming those are probably the same size screws there. Yeah, so I found this guy. Only problem is, T20 was the biggest that I got for the bit, and I can't find another bit by itself right now. So if that T20 doesn't work with that, we got the actual small ratchet and some other assorted Torx bits there, which is how I did it the last time. So I'm probably gonna have to do this off camera because I don't remember how I exactly filmed it the last time. I got the T20 working. Oh, that's not cool. Oh, okay, we got one. The other one is a little further back. It's like no matter what you put back here, it's it's always too big and bulky for the space that you're trying to work with. We got that one, and now it just slides out. Trying to do this so you guys can see. It's not like you guys haven't seen it before because we've done the video before. Alright, so here's our new one. Now I think I've mentioned it in the other ones that I've done. You kind of got to pay attention because you see where the arrow is on that one, but the space for the tooth or the cog is on that direction there. I think on the new one it's already kind of in position there, so it's in a different mode. So what we have to do is when we slide this in, we have to kind of turn this until all of the gears line up into the door in the dash. Then once they line up, we'll be able to actually rotate the door and then push this in and line it up with the dowel that's in there, and then we can screw it down. Alright, so she is all somewhere. Well, yeah, okay, so it's all settled. There's the dowel. So we were able to rotate the door once we got the teeth lined up, and then was able to push it over the dowel. So now we just have to put the screws in and plug it in. Whew. Alright, so we got our screws in. I got to tighten them with the ratchet. I was able to pretty much get that one in all the way by hand, but we got to snug them up. I'll be right back. Man, that's a workout. Alright. So now, we'll go ahead and plug it in, maybe. Jeez. This is the stuff that I chose to do for a living. Like, for real. That's good, see? So we went back to the front vents, which is where it always used to do it all the time. So it is on the front vents. I'm going to go to the floor and front. Alright, just the floor. Windshield and floor. Just the windshield. Windshield and dash vents. Oh, guess I'm going back to just the dash vents. Alright. There we go. No more clicking. Picking up the wrong screwdriver. What did I do with that? No. Alright folks, there we go. Everything's back into place. This feels like it's working well. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Alright. Actuator number 4 installed. We'll give it another few years and then I'll be back down there putting another one in. Oh, by the way, here's the part number. Oh, they kind of covered it up with the sticker. Well, yeah, there's your part number there. Alright folks, that's it. I'm going to get cleaned up real quick and then I'm going to take this thing for a test drive and get those brakes broken in. But a lot of love shown today for the 15 Fiesta. That's all I've got, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I know a lot of this was like a repeat of you know, some previous vlogs from years ago. But, you know, again, it's what we do. And as far as the, you know, whole aftermarket pad thing, you know, I mean, I say it all the time with a lot of everything. If you can get the OE, always get the OE. If you have to go aftermarket, so be it. But it goes to show, especially with brake pads on certain models or certain makes, they tend to wear out a lot faster than the actual, you know, OE pads. I see that a lot, you know, working at Honda again. So it's just try to stick with the OEs if you can. Other than that, thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. In the meantime, thanks for watching and take care.